Hey guys, welcome to my Geekdom. I'm Brianna and I'm here to spend a little bit of time talking about a few of my favorite things, hoping you have just as much love for them as I do. We're going to start at the tabletop hilltop, take a stroll to the television subdivision, and then spend quite a bit of time at the end of our episode in Preview Park because we had some big ones hit over this past 2 weeks, including Stranger Things 5 and Scream 7. Now, starting at the top with Worlds Beyond Numbers, they are starting their newest game, which, if I am to understand properly, is called Fortune Found. So the first interlude episode dropped. It's got a really cool Old West vibe, which I dig, I'm into. I grew up having my mom having me watch reruns of Young Riders. Ooh, I am tripping over my tongue like crazy today. Anyways, I listened to that interlude. It was super interesting. It's no surprise whatsoever that Lou's character is quickly becoming my favorite. He is a stooge for the local railway station. It was just really fun to listen to him bring this character to life. He reminded me a little bit of Gunny from Dimension 20. So yeah, I think I'll be tuning into this one. What I think is really cool in the tabletop hilltop right now for me is the things I found this past week, or two actually, are very different versus the standard Critical Role high fantasy. They're stepping a little bit out of bounds. They're all a little bit different, and that's super exciting. So yes, Fortune Found, Old West vibes, spooky abandoned town, everybody's near death, and a guy already lost his leg in the first episode. So check that out wherever you get your podcasts. Now next we had Push the Rule with Ross Bryant, and I think what I'm going to be doing with those are I'm going to wait for them to air the entire arc. So like this one is the 1931 Miskatonic University reunion disaster. Say that 5 times fast, and I've been tripping over my tongue for the past 2 minutes. How did I even say it? But I listened to episodes 1 and 2. Episode 3 will be coming out this week. So I don't think I'm going to share my thoughts and feelings until I've had a chance to listen to all 3 of them. But we've got some fun, spooky vibes. It is set in the 1950s, so there's a fun difference there. It's just really cool listening to Push the Roll and all their different stories. They are giving us the anthology that they promised, and it is fun. I dig it. So come back next week where I will have listened to all 3, and I will be sharing my thoughts and feelings about that. Now, we did have our Cloudward Ho finale over on... I don't know what's wrong. I think it might have been the extra large coffee I had, but it was worth it. It was delicious. But yes, Cloudward Ho on Dimension 20 had their finale. Controversial. I kind of wish that Emily's character hadn't made it. I thought it would have been a really nice kind of sacrifice. It's not the end of the world that she did, that the only person that we lost was, what's her name? I can't even remember character names. My God, that coffee was good. Yeah, but I just thought that it would have been a nice emotional thing for her to give herself to save. All their names started with M. My God. This is how excited I am to talk about Scream 7 and why we were only going to take quick pit stops over here. Anyways, go watch the finale. I'm sure these names are going to pop into my head in a few minutes. I feel a little ridiculous. But the biggest thing on Tabletop Hilltop that I actually really wanted to talk about, Tales from Wood Creek. This premiered, I watched it on YouTube, it premiered on Halloween, created by Deborah Ann Wool and Ed Gass Donnelly, and you can find it on the Dungeon Dudes channel. It is so different and so cool. You have to watch it. You cannot listen, because what Deborah Ann Wool has done is created an interactive, like actually active. They are not just sitting at a table. I don't know where they are, what abandoned farmhouse they found to film this in, or abandoned town, because there's got to be more to have that school setting. So let's start out with who is playing this game. You have, again, as always, please forgive me for mispronouncing names, but Anjali Bahami, Monty Martin, Kelly McLaughlin, Aman Vellani. This is her first time. That is my girl, Miss Marvel. I am so excited. Anjali was in Miss Marvel with her as one of the aunties. They became friends, and now she is getting to play Dungeons and Dragons for the very first time. It absolutely sucks that this amazingly cool version is what she's starting with. Because you know from every interview that Aman Vellani has done, she is as nerdy in the best way possible as it gets. I mean, this girl wrote Miss Marvel comics. She fights Kevin Feige on facts about the MCU. She is going to fall down this rabbit hole hard. And I just feel bad because I am not sure if anything else is going to really live up to what she's getting to experience for her first game. Even though any of us who have played know that it's the game that's fun. All of the extras involved are super dope. But it's really your character. It's really being with your friends. It's just, this is so different from all of the other TTRPGs right now that it's really cool. In the little trailer, we have also Will Wheaton will be making an appearance, Ginny D, Jessica Henwick, and there's one more person, but it kept going too fast, and I got mad trying to stop it to get his name. But yeah, so it starts off, they're in like this kind of Old West-esque general store, and Deborah Ann Wool is welcoming them into coming back to this town that they are descended from, and she appreciates them because a witch put a curse on the town of Wood Creek, and now all of the descendants, the people that lived there, turned into monsters. The kids did not, but they were cursed, and all of their descendants are cursed as well. So now these people are returning to this town to figure out the curse, and they start in the old schoolhouse. So Deborah Ann Wool is running this game from the front of the schoolhouse as the spirit teacher, and you know, they're doing their regular roles, but it's very interactive. One of the guys wanted to get up and stealth to another position, so for him to get out of that desk and walk over there, he had to make a stealth roll to move. They actually got to go look at the bookcase, go find different things, and she has hidden around this schoolhouse different notes, so they are finding all of the clues while playing the game and making their rolls. They had a cool fight scene, and in between shots they're kind of going back and forth reality show style with the players going, you know, hi, this is who I am, this is why I love the game, this is the character I'm playing, I didn't expect this to happen, this was so cool. Like, just imagine being in an old schoolhouse and hearing the knocking, hearing the creaking, crazy sounds, and she's got a lantern and a rule stick. Like, it was really cool. So please go check that out on the Dungeon Dudes channel. Tales from Wood Creek, really different, stands out so much against what we are seeing in Critical Role, what we are seeing over on Worlds Beyond Numbers. It's just nifty. Speaking of Critical Role, we did have episode 4 with the Alex Ward night, and boy was it an Alex Ward night. That poor man must have been so stressed out. But it was really cool. Last week I did not watch it, but they did do a Dispatch one-shot because Travis Matt and Laura are voices in the new Dispatch game. So they did a one-shot based off of that. Instead of watching it, I was finally getting to watch Jurassic World Rebirth. I actually enjoyed it. Is it my favorite? No, but it was different in all of the right ways. So solid B, I think, to Jurassic World Rebirth. Now, over down in the television subdivision, there's a Canadian Bake Off. How did no one tell me there is a Canadian Bake Off? It started in 2017. You can find it on Roku streaming with all of the original episodes of British Bake Off and the American Bake Off, the Celebrity Bake Off. Like, if it's not on Netflix, it is on Roku streaming, so go find it there. But the second I saw Canadian, the American one is okay. Like, it's not terrible, but it's not British. Canadian is as close to British as you can get for that kindness, that relaxation that we all get from British Bake Off. Dan Levy is one of the hosts, so super excited. I've already busted through season 1. Season 2 is going on right now. For me, it's from 2018, so it happened in the past. I just mean for me right now. I just discovered it, and that's what I'm watching to relax. Now for my shout out to British Bake Off, I was right. It's my I was right dance, because Aaron made it into the finale. I called it from episode 1. I am so excited to see Aaron get into that finale. I hope he wins. I'm not sure if he will. I couldn't call who the winner was. I just knew that he would make it into the final 3, and he did. Now let's give shout outs to Abbott Elementary for having their Halloween episode the way that I love. And High Potential Season 2 Episode 6 had Chasing Ghosts. Now, both of these Halloween episodes were not integral to the plots. They didn't have any real character growth. Nothing crazy was going on. But they were good, solid Halloween episodes, purely there for the fun. Specifically in High Potential, we had a Hollywood it couple, a divorce lawyer who moved into their house, found dead with a ghost bride standing over him, their secret passages in a fake spiritualist, a diamond necklace worth $20 million, and an angry teenager. What the hell else do you need in a Halloween episode? Except for the cute little, Caradic, they did a little flashback to him when he was a kid where he was a cop on Halloween. It's so cute. Just freaking adorable. And lo and behold, the scariest thing of all, thank God it is gone now, Steve Howey shaved that hideous mustache. In episode 7, the one that got away, shout out to Morgan's earrings for being sparkly and amazing. Of course, the stolen artwork recovery specialist. Yeah, of course he fucking did it. He's hot and has an accent, to the surprise of no one. Oh, let's take a look at Psych. Guess what? Did that FBI psychic? Was she the criminal? If you are watching a not a cop show, which is what I refer to with things like High Potential, where she is a consultant, those are not a cop shows. She is not a cop. She works with the cop. She solves crimes. Anytime a consultant is added into the mix who is not our main character, they did it. Just like in any cop show or not a cop show, if the show starts out with a clown, the clown did it, okay? They did. Prove me wrong. Oh, you can't. Anyways, so just thought it was a little convenient that 9-10 days after the Louvre is robbed, we have an episode where a Rembrandt gets stolen from a museum. Anybody? No? Okay. Well, Steve Howey, so the captain, his new captain character, gets mad with Morgan. I have not trusted this guy since the second he walked on the screen with that hideous mustache. Like, he's just so damn lovable almost all the rest of the time. He is embodying this character so well. I don't trust him at all. And there's a moment he's having a conversation with Karadec in the car because Morgan's been sidelined for breaking the rules. And I can't remember. Karadec is standing up for her. He's come so far in their partnership and friendship and loosening up that he's standing up for Morgan, and the captain gets him to say something like, it was manipulative, and Steve Howey looks out the window and gives this little smile like, I got you. You think you can trust me. No, nobody thinks they can trust you. Only fools think they can trust you. You have got to be here for Roman. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, but no, sir, I do not trust you. Now, the last part of our television subdivision, finishing out spooky season. I mean, I like spooky season all year long, but I did go in and watch Midnight Mass. So this is made for the fourth thing of Mike Flanagan's that I have watched. The third thing knowingly, because I did not know that he was a director and writer on The Midnight Club, which I watched a few years ago. So, The Midnight Club, The Haunting of Bly Manor, which was the first one I saw. And then please go check out The Haunting of My Geekdoms Part 1 and Part 2. Part 2 specifically where I really break down The Haunting of Hill House and now Midnight Mass. Of these four that I have watched and enjoyed, Midnight Mass is technically the most violent. It has probably the most amount, or the second. It's really tied because of the broken neck lady in The Haunting of Hill House. Those were some good jump scares. But the Being will say, no, I mean, it's been out long enough. Everyone knows if you're here by now that I'm spoiling things I already did. So the angel, demon, vampire, whatever you want to call him, yes, I am left being incredibly wary of every window. I mean, I already have my windows covered at nighttime, but there is no way in hell, at least for a while, I am leaving them uncovered longer than 1 second past the sun setting. That was creepy as heck. But it technically wasn't the scariest. And I think, to me, the reason why it is not the actual scariest is because it's really an exploration of the church, what religion means to these characters and on this island, and it's just a more frank way of, well, I should say, not a frank way. No, it's a pretty frank way of talking about how religion can, in the hands of the wrong people, they are watching you, they're controlling you. Bev is the epitome of a church Karen. She is the worst of the worst, judging everyone who does not see things the way that she does. I wanted to watch this in general. I've had a crush on Hamish Linklater forever, as well as Raoul Coley. But watching both of them in these roles, which is so different from anything I've ever seen either of them do before, you really get to appreciate their acting ability. It's just spectacular, really. Now, Kate Siegel, her character of Erin, I thought it was a very interesting argument. So, you have this priest tricking people into drinking the blood of an angel, and it's returning their bodies to the healthiest version of themselves. In the case of Aaron, that means the church is aborting her pregnancy without her knowledge and consent. Now, again, this is not the actual church. This is somebody representing the church. She's losing her child. She has no choice in the matter. This town, people like Bev, judged Erin for returning home pregnant but without her husband. If everybody didn't die and suddenly she was no longer pregnant, they would have judged her for that. They would have punished her even though she had no control. So I am curious for anybody who has a religious background, who has an experience with this, how did the loss of her pregnancy make you feel? Do you know anybody who's religious who watched this? How did they react to that aspect in particular? I mean, the people who were the safest in the town were Riley, who his father told him, you came home, you are fresh out of prison, you are on parole, you are responsible for the death of a woman because of drunk driving, you say that you don't believe in God anymore, you are still going to come to church, but you're not going to take communion. That technically saved Riley. The sheriff, being Muslim, saves him. It would have saved his son if his son... The brainwashing feels too strong, but also not, because Bev was his teacher. Peer pressure isn't strong enough, but his line is that all of his friends at school, because they live in a teeny tiny island that has 200 people in it, they're all going to this church. So he wants to see why, but going to that church killed him. Being forced into a religion that wasn't his, though, again, forced is a little strong because he did make this point. It's so... The line is so thin across the board for each thing that they talk about. Is it brainwashing? Is it freedom of choice? It's just such a thin line. But it really boils down to a priest who broke his vows getting a second chance at youth and wanting the woman he broke his vows with to have a second chance at life again, for both of them to have a second chance with their child. So are those sins? There are very interesting questions throughout Midnight Mass. Again, technically the most violent, and yet the least scary, in my opinion, of Mike Flanagan's work that I have seen. Now, the last place we are going to visit, and we are going to spend the most time in, is here in Preview Park. We got opening credits for the Mighty Nine. That is exciting, cool to see it. They're trying to keep hype up. I respect that. There's the final trailer for Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I love a good heist film. I love the Now You See Me series. I cannot wait for this second one. One Piece, we got the season 2 teaser. So that is coming up. It's on its way. Now, I have not read any of the mangas. I've only watched several of the episodes. This is hundreds and hundreds of hours of entertainment. It's so much. And I really respect anybody that dedicated. I think I'm going to stick with the Netflix series. It's bright and pretty, and I grew up in the 90s when we got lots of cool pirate stuff. There was reruns of the Pirates of Blackwater. There was Muppet Treasure Island. We just had a ton of pirate things, and One Piece is this ultimate collection of pirate and going on an adventure and standing up against the bad guys for what you believe in. It is bright and beautiful and fun. So very excited for season 2. Now let's highlight Stranger Things 5. You can see over my shoulder here that I have my Stranger Things shelf with Joyce's house, the Byers house from the Upside Down Lego set. My Erica fell down and so did my Elle, and I just haven't picked them up yet. Did you ever notice with Pop Funkos, I took mine all out of the boxes because they are for me to enjoy, not for me to try and resell later. In this space, I'm still trying to get them properly on a shelf, properly displayed. I've made some changes in my decor on the side of the room that you guys can't see, so I'm still working on getting those guys set up properly. But for whatever screwed up reason, the women don't stand up properly. Like, all of my male Pops stand up with no problem. Erica, Elle, I have 3 different rogues, I think. Jessica Jones, Storm, none of them stand up, and it's very annoying. So I just thought I would throw that out there, because, I mean, I use a little museum putty thing to put at their feet, and that helps them stand up. I just got to work on that display over there. Okay, Stranger Things, Season 5. It is coming out. We got the final trailer. We are seeing this final incarnation of Vecna. These are just some highlights from the trailer for me. I think between Season 1 and 4, there are things that we've all liked and disliked. And I'm personally putting a lot of hope in that they end Season 5 solidly across the board. So we get a look at Jonathan and Nancy. They have an underground bunker somehow. Why not? I mean, the mall had an entire Russian army beneath it and research station, but that was a little bit outside of Hawkins, so why wouldn't more buildings in Hawkins have hidden underground passages? Who knows? Nancy is giving this great speech. She is one of the characters that back in Season 1, I did not like. I was not a Nancy fan, but by the end of the season, she had won me over. She was a little hit and miss in Season 2 because she was trying to be the pilot episode Nancy again. That Nancy's gone. You do not see that Nancy in this trailer, and it's awesome. Like, I loved it because I got vibes when they show her shooting at the army and shooting at, rather it's the U.S. Army or Vecna's army, but all I thought, I'm like, man, I am getting such Ripley and Sarah Connor vibes from her. And then I went, because I was trying to remember Mike's little sister's name, so I was scrolling through on IMDb the character list. Lo and behold, we are gonna get Linda Hamilton in Season 5. So stoked. Like, can you imagine the Nancy we see in that trailer in a standoff against any of Linda Hamilton's characters? Let's fucking go. That's awesome. I cannot wait. Fingers crossed we get that. Because, like, before we reached here, at the end of Season 1, maybe it was at the end of Season 2, I started doing my own headcanon thing, going like, you know, I hope Nancy will one day become the sheriff. She'll take over, she'll work for the police, she knows what's up in this town. I want Steve to become the mayor, because again, he knows what's going on. Steve would be a cool dude to have as the mayor. Nancy as a journalist, sure, okay, that feels more accurate for Jonathan for me. He definitely feels more like he'll be in that field because he doesn't fight the way Nancy does for life and necessity. Like, he's definitely as pacifist as you can be in this universe. Steve fights for family. He fights to protect the kids. He fights to protect the people he cares about. I will fight to protect Steve. We got a cute Steve and Dustin hug. We can't, guys. They know how much we love them. They know it. They're gonna come for Steve. And it's gonna destroy us. I am putting my money down now. I don't think Steve's going to see the end of season 5. I don't think he's getting out from behind these government walls. Dear God, please let me be wrong. Everyone protect Steve and Dustin. Now we do see Holly. That's the name I was looking for. We get a glimpse of who I'm guessing is Holly protecting Mrs. Wheeler. I didn't see Mr. Wheeler in this trailer at all, so I think it'd be really hilarious if you just see this dude sitting in his armchair going, yes, dear, the way we have since the beginning. So can you just imagine this huge fight with demi-dogs and whatnot, and that dude is just chilling, having a beer, not paying attention, reading the newspaper? We get that image of Luke is protecting Max from the demi-dogs. That's all we see of Max, is that she is still unconscious, so fingers crossed that does not last long, and we get Max back pretty quickly. There's a few glimpses of Robin next to a dude with a really big bushy beard. No idea what's going on there. Now, my biggest hope is probably the craziest hope. And that is, I am hoping we get Mike from the first 2 episodes of season 1 back. We see him giving this inspirational speech. He's standing at the head of the war table with all of the kids who we know are the real fighters of this town, who are the ones who have protected it over and over again against odds and against wishes of pretty much just Joyce and Hopper, because no one else listens to them. So they're the ones leading this attack, and Mike is giving an inspirational speech, and in the voiceover, Elle says to him that he can't write the ending because it's not one of his campaigns. So I think that is her prepping him for, if things go south, we're going to lose people. Things could be bad. You need to be prepared for that now. I'm hoping, because Mike has sucked so much in season 2, 3, and 4, just being a terrible friend. He got his first girlfriend. I mean, Lucas is the one who really wrapped it up. Mike was originally worried about Will when Will disappears. But then he met Elle, and Will didn't matter as much. The way Mike treated Will in season 2 and then again in season 4, like, there has been very little redeeming about Mike from season 2 through 4. There's no reason for us to care about him. He's just kind of a jerk. But in this trailer, we see that war table, we hear his speech, and the biggest thing that I am holding out hope for is we see him on this battlefield with Joyce, protecting other children of the town. So, fingers crossed that we get that original Mike back. That he has grown up and he is not as much of an asshole as he's been. Like, we get it. We've all met teenagers. We've all been teenagers. They suck. But this world that they live in can't keep allowing for that. There's too much danger. He knows too much. His girlfriend does too much. Being a jerk will get you killed. Not caring about anybody else is going to get you killed. So again, seeing him protecting other kids is my hope that he will change and we're going to see some amazing character growth there. I am excited. It comes out in November. We'll see. I know that there are different things going on online. I am legitimately only talking about the trailer. Nothing. No, I can't because now I brought it up. So the reports from Millie Bobby Brown of what's his name, of Hopper bullying her. One thing says this is a couple of years ago. Another thing says that it's not accurate. Like, I don't know. Am I gonna side with a woman? Yeah. Like, there's chance, but we just don't know. We're not there. I'm not a professional. Again, I am not part of Hollywood. I don't have any information, just what we see online. And kids today don't learn this lesson as hardcore as we did in the 90s when the internet was just coming out and becoming a thing, where social media was being developed, where internet chat rooms were a danger, and we were taught not to trust every single thing that we saw online or every single thing a person told us. I don't know. I have waited and waited for this show. I want it to be good. I don't know about controversy. I just want to watch TV. I just want to be entertained. There are certain things that I will absolutely take a stand and stand up against. You guys have seen in the past over my shoulder, I'm sure if anybody looked, my Harry Potter Legos. Again, I grew up at a time where Harry Potter was it, okay? It was across the board. I read The Sorcerer's Stone in the 5th grade. Every year I was in the same grade as Harry Potter. He was part of my life as a book nerd and just an average nerd. But it has been over 5 years since I bought anything Harry Potter. I still have the Legos because they're beautiful, not because I support J.K. Rowling, because fuck that lady. So yeah, I'm gonna take stands. I currently don't have information to boycott Stranger Things Season 5, to punish David Harbour. I don't have that information. Again, some people are saying this is old news, this is new news. There's nothing consistent across the board. That is the thing that's hard. And I haven't gone to search for it either, which could, you can easily say that's on me. Okay, that out of the way, here's the big thing we are devoting time to today, because Scream is one of my favorite franchises of all time. So I am going to read out a bit about who our cast for Scream 7 is. We have Kevin Williamson back directing and writing. Neve Campbell has returned as Sidney Prescott. Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers. David Arquette as Dewey Riley, which is very interesting for a dead guy. Scott Foley as Roman Bridger, again, dead guy. Matthew Lillard as Stu Macher, very dead guy. He had a TV on his head. Jasmine Savoy Brown as Mindy Meeks Martin. Mason Gooding as Chad Meeks Martin. Isabel May is a new actor playing Tatum Prescott. And then a couple of cast members that didn't have characters listed on IMDb are going to include Anna Camp, Joel McHale, McKenna Grace, Ethan Embry, and Mark Consuelos. Of course, there are other people listed. I don't know their names. I don't know who those people are. All of them are younger actors. And I felt so old. I was like, damn, have I seen you guys in anything? Who are you? What year were you born? In the opening trailer, the guy, I looked at the actor's name and then I clicked on him because he felt familiar, and I know that he was on Modern Family. So I'm like, I know you. You played a firefighter. I've seen you shirtless. I don't know anybody else. I don't know them. Okay, so I'm going to sort of break down this trailer and then talk a little freeform on my feelings, what I think is happening, how it relates to the other films. So it opens on Stu Macher's house, which is now an Airbnb, and we have our first couple who will be killed. They are staying in the house overnight when Ghostface kills them. And let's see here, we've got Sydney. She answers her phone, and it is Ghostface calling from an unknown number in Woodsboro. And he's saying how nice the town she and her daughter live in is. So as it goes on, we see Sydney's got a safe room. Ghostface has come for her and her daughter. There is an escape. They're trying to get through the wall. Ghostface stabs the wall trying to get to them. And there's a line where Sydney's daughter, Tatum, says that she wants to be like her, a fighter. Of course, Gail shows up in a news van, because why wouldn't she? And then we hear the voiceover of Roman from the third film saying, all your friends died for just being near you. And then Ghostface back, I'm gonna burn it all down. Stu's house goes up in flames at the end, and then we hear Stu's voiceover, this is gonna be fun. Here's some highlights, some things. I couldn't catch, there's a cop that Sydney is talking to. I couldn't make out who it was. I couldn't tell if that was Ethan Embry or Joel McHale. I definitely don't think it's Joel McHale, but there is a chance it could have been Ethan Embry. I tried I just couldn't get it right, but it looked very much like that guy that died. So anybody who is a fan of Scream knows how important the Halloween franchise is for the existence of Scream. That Halloween plays in Scream, and Scream plays in Halloween 5, I think. But the point is, at the very first question that Ghostface asks at the beginning of Scream, talking to Drew Barrymore, is who is the killer in Halloween? So there is a lot of importance there. Now, watching this trailer, I was just so excited. I sent it to my friend who I watch scary movies with. I had two original feelings in regards to this trailer. Actually, no, it was just, one is excitement, two is this trailer doesn't look like the Scream universe we're used to. It is very different, but I couldn't quite put my finger on why. And then my friend says two different things. First, he asked, did I catch Stu at the end saying this is going to be fun? I did not. And then he said that this was reminding him of Laurie's daughter in Halloween, the 2018 Halloween. After watching the trailer again and thinking about it and talking it out with him a bit, it occurred to me that's probably what we are looking at for Scream 7, is Halloween 2018. Now, Scream 4 was a remake. Scream 5 is a legacy. So all of those characters are distant relatives. They are somehow related to the original characters from the first Scream film. We have Randy's niece and nephew. We have an illegitimate daughter of Billy Loomis. Even right there, Billy Loomis was named after Dr. Loomis from Halloween. Their last name Carpenter in Scream 5, or in Scream 6, 5 and 6 is from John Carpenter, who created Halloween. So, as I'm thinking about it, I start to think, well, I'm sure there's a term, But to me, it's a continuation. Halloween 2018 is a continuation. Laurie is the main character. Yes, there are fresh new teenagers to be killed by Michael, but the story is about him going after Laurie's granddaughter to get to Laurie. These teenagers are just a stepping stone to his goal. Ghostface says to Sydney how pretty her daughter is, what a nice place you live in. It reminds me of where we grew up. That indicates that this killer is also from Woodsboro. By saying we, it is indicating the possibility, at least to me, that they're going to be of an equivalent age as Sydney. That's why also I have a very strict rule. It fell through on Scream 6, but 1 through 5, I'm attracted to the killers. Both of them, all of the time, never not been attracted to the killers. That's how I know who done it. Scream 6, not so much. Anyways, back to this point. So I kind of think Ethan Embry is going to be the killer because I've been in love with him forever. Also planning to talk later in November, possibly in December, about some of my favorite off the beaten track Christmas films. One of which includes Ethan Embry and where my love of him began. But anyways, back to Scream 5. So, yes, now we have Sydney's daughter, who is not the goal. She's the stepping stone. Ghostface is saying that he is going to kill her daughter, but only when Sydney is around to see it. So this is about punishing Sydney. Let's look at the original stories in 1, 2, and 3. Billy is the killer. He killed Sydney's mom for sleeping with his dad and breaking up his parents' marriage. Stu is his quote-unquote best friend, but as they were, Matthew Lillard and what's his name, who played Billy Loomis, said they've coined that they are now the first husbands of horror. So yes, Stu and Billy, boyfriends then. So he gets his boyfriend to start killing people just because they can. Billy is going after Sydney as punishment. He is taking out his anger. You get to the second one. Billy's mother is the killer, getting revenge because Sydney killed her son and Sydney's mom ruined her marriage and her life. I mean, she looks friggin' amazing, so sounds like your husband was a cheater. You should probably be fine with it. I don't know why it's such a problem. Scream 3. Roman is the killer. Roman is Sydney's mother's illegitimate son. He is Sydney's half-brother. Sydney did not know that this man existed, and he is blaming her for getting the happy life in Woodsboro that he never got. So if we are translating that, when you look at number 4 was a remake, right? So it's a very similar setup for the story, except for the killer is Sydney's niece, and she is targeting her friends, making it look like she's the victim. She's really going after Sydney for all of the attention Sydney gets that she never got. But when we go to 5, in this legacy, we start fresh again. We are back in Woodsboro again. These teenagers are being killed. It is not someone related to Sydney. It is the illegitimate daughter of Billy Loomis, who was cheating on Sydney back in the first film. That is what we learn here. So her half-sister is now the target. Randy's niece and nephew are on the list of people who could get killed. Everything plays out and ends in Stu's house the way that it does in the first film. You get to the sixth film. They're following the plot. They've moved to college. The killer is the father of the girl who was the killer in number 5. I think I got that order right. Because he wasn't Huey's dad, so he had to be the girl's dad. Anyways, so that is that. Now we have number 7. And the question becomes, would they follow it and make the third film? But it's hard to make the third film because the third film is set in Hollywood at the Stab 2 filming. It's all set up in a pretend Woodsboro. So that's harder to do. But if you mix it with what we hear in that trailer when he says, this reminds me of where we grew up. So he's saying the quaint little town that they found is like Woodsboro. You can kind of mark that off the list, right? If the killer in Scream 3 is Sidney's half-brother, and this killer is coming after Sidney again, one could surmise that maybe her mom had another kid. There's a couple different ways it can go. But if instead you look again at Halloween 2018, what you can see is what I had already previously stated, that he's going to go after Tatum's friends. One of them who was dressed like Tatum. Just a little shout out, had to point it out. So they'll go after Tatum's friends. I do not think the Meeks are going to make it, right? Randy died in the second film. Their mother, who, again, why am I having the damnedest time? I always have a hard time. I don't even know why I pretend. But Lily from The Princess Bride, that's who played Martha Meeks and who is Millie and Chad's mom. She showed up in Scream 3 at the lot for Stab 2. So I don't think that the Meeks are going to make it. I think that this is the end of the road. They've survived 5 and 6. I don't think they're making it out of 7. So we've got that. Those are going to be our new legacy kills, quote unquote, since they are from the legacy films. Sidney has even built a house like Laurie did in Halloween that has a safe room. It doesn't appear that she's able to catch Ghostface in that locked room the way that Laurie did in Halloween, but she's built safety into her home. She built an escape route out of her home. She is ready and set. She went from victim to trying to get by. She was a survivor, but still seen as a victim. In the third one, she completely disassociated from the world. Shout out again to The Haunting for one of my favorite tropes showing up in Scream 3, and that is you have this cute cop who thinks he's played by Patrick Dempsey, who thinks that he's going to save crazy little Sidney Prescott, but no, she's not crazy. There's a killer out there. She's been dealing with it since she was 16 years old. Fuck off and apologize. Scream 4. Sidney is back and part of the world, and she has written a book about how she has survived and thrived. Scream 5. Courtney Cox calls her, and we get the line of, "Do you have a gun?" "Of course I have a gun. I'm fucking Sidney Prescott." She is not in 6, which is good, because 6 is just not that great, in my opinion. It is the lowest on the totem pole. So Scream 7, she is back, and she is at the center of the story again. Let's take a look at the storyline that they follow for Laurie in Halloween. Unwitting victim, survivor, fighter. She is a doomsday prepper who knew Michael Myers was going to come back for her. The difference is the boogeyman is much harder to kill than Ghostface. Sidney has event after event, killer after killer. That is a real human being. They can be stopped. And in the trailer, she tells her daughter to take that headshot. So, what I am getting from this trailer, what it's giving me, what I am getting hopes for, it was filmed, and if you go and watch the Halloween 2018 trailer, you'll get those same vibes. So I think that is what we are getting. We are getting a continuation and possibly a conclusion. Hopefully it'll be nothing like Halloween Ends, which again, absolutely terrible. There's always got to be bad stuff in a franchise. That's just how life is. But I think that is what we are going for. I think Sidney is going to survive. I think her daughter Tatum is going to survive. Shout out for naming her after one of the best friends in horror that's ever existed. But using Stu's voice, using Roman's voice, to me are very clear indicators that we are going back to the original story and plot of this is circling around Sidney for something she has no control over. I don't know how, and I don't know why. Maybe this total shot in the dark here. What if Ethan Embry was somehow related to Stu? What if he was somehow related to Matthew Lillard's Stu Macher? Burning down the house of Stu Macher in the trailer, they are saying Woodsboro is done. Ghostface is over. This is the end. There's no going back from this point. I will end it. And we know Sidney encourages her daughter to take that headshot. The best part of Scream 2 is Sidney and Gale taking the headshots together. Sidney will kill. She has done it before. She will do it again. And I think now, like Laurie, she'll do it preemptively. If she thinks you might be Ghostface, I don't think you're going to see the end of this film. Rather, you are or not. So I am very excited for Scream 7. I cannot wait. It comes out February 27th, 2026. Very upset about having to wait. I'm going to have to fit in a full Scream marathon. As always, if you guys have any thoughts, opinions, feelings, something you'd like to see more of or less of, please leave them in my comments. Help me grow, help me learn. Thank you so much for visiting my geekdom, and please come back again.